Salut și bine ați venit la o nouă ediție ZF IT Generation. Eu sunt Adrian Săcelanu, jurnalist ZF, iar invitații ediției de astăzi sunt Liviu Munteanu, partener Founders Bridge. Salut Liviu, bine ai revenit!
Salut Adrian, bine te-am găsit, îmi pare bine să ne vedem atât de des.
Și de asemenea este alături de noi și Pavlos Loizou, cofondator și CEO al Esquire. Hello, Pavlos, and thank you for joining us again.
Hi, thank you for your time.
Well, I'm really happy, gentlemen, that we get to discuss again, and I'm really happy that we get to discuss because there is some positive development, and that is a financing round for Esquire, where Founders Bridge is part of the deal. So let's discuss about this. And first of all, maybe you could share how did you get to talk each other, and how did you reach this moment when you said, okay, let's do this deal?
Adrian, it is difficult to miss Pavlos because he's everywhere and he's quite a presence. Most recently, his team won the Innovex cohort, so they got the highest prize in the Business Accelerator, formerly funded by BCR. I have been a little bit conflicted because I was a member in the jury, but since I really liked his team, we had some discussions after the demo day, after the program, the Innovex program finished, and it didn't happen the first time when we met, but a couple of subsequent meetings later, Pavlos told me that we have a round open, and if you want to chip in with a standard ticket, which I did. And further than that, I also recommended Esquire to my colleagues in Founders Bridge, and we managed to also invest as a fund. So I'm involved twice in Esquire now, both as an angel investor and as part of Founders Bridge, a general partner in Founders Bridge. Long story short, I'm happy to have met Esquire. I'm happy that we are here at the right time, in the right place, because they're just getting ready to expand to Romania, and winning the Innovex BCR Accelerator was their first step. I'm happy to be part of the next step.
Thank you, Liviu, for sharing that, and I could not agree more with what you said. It's hard to miss Pavlos. I think everyone can see his energy and his passion to drive things up and to develop. So, Pavlos, please share with us how your side of the story. How did you end up signing things with Founders Bridge and Liviu?
First of all, I take the comment that I need to go on a diet, that you cannot miss me. So by next time we meet in person, I would be a few kilos less, not too much. I have my halloumi figure to maintain. But in terms of how we met, as Liviu said, we met as part of the Innovex process, both the training, but then the pitching to investors, and then obviously the last day, the demo day. So let's say we connected, through this learning process of sharing. And then, like most things that have to do with Esquire, because we are heavily involved, obviously, on analyzing everything that has to do with real estate. And everybody somehow has a passion or opinion about the real estate market. So we started chatting with Liviu about buying and developing real estate, and how where do people in Romania find data. So clearly you have the online platforms like Imobiliare.ro and others that people go to for pricing data, which tend to be quite opaque and all over the place, and you can't really find what you're looking for to get clarity and transparency. Then you have the cadastral that is, not very user friendly, but the data is there. And then obviously you have various legal issues and other stuff that are remnants from the past, from Soviet times, not communist times, that create the problems that are there. And then finally you have all these environmental things that are affecting everyone, both earthquake risks that clearly have an influence in Bucharest in particular, but also other things like flood risk and climate change that is impacting decision making nowadays. And I think it's through this discussion that we can say, this is sort of our plan. We had expanded to Greece about a year and a half ago, and this was how we saw this the Innovex journey not the winning, but the journey as a journey as our chance to explore the Romanian market and see where there are opportunities. And indeed, we have been very positively surprised by the breadth of opportunities that are there for us and for data analytics in various segments of the market.
Okay, what can you share about this financing round? Why did you started it, and what can you share about the amount you raised, valuation, who are the other financing partners, everything that you can share? As you know, we are curious about that.
So this financing round values the company at 6 million euro pre-money. We have raised in total, not in this round, in total the company has raised with this round 2.5 million. This round was about 600,000 euro. And in terms of how the round is split, of the 600,000 euro, Liviu and founders bridge, because as Liviu mentioned, is 2 tickets, let's say, was around 60% of the ticket. And then the other 30 came from existing investors, including, I'm pleased to say, from the co-founder of Google Maps, Lars Rasmussen, who had invested in us in the previous round as well, and who was and remains as our technical advisor.
Going back to Liviu a little bit, maybe you could share which were the key metrics that convinced you to invest, beside Pavlos' presence and his energy and his drive to move things around.
Well, obviously, Pavlos and his team are part of our decision. We mainly look at 3 very important things happening at the same time. We're looking for the right industry in the right market at the right time. And obviously, with a good team to implement the plan. And I think what we have seen with Esquire checked all these boxes. They are really in a hot industry that screams for digitalization. They started in a market that has already proved to generate cash flow so that they can expand. And they are coming to Romania at the right time when things in real estate are maturing. There's a lot of M&A happening, new investments. They are really coming to add in the tool set of developers, banks, insurers, utility companies, and they are definitely going to make a difference in what's going to happen in Romania in the next years. Obviously, we looked at the team and Pavlos. He has the right resume for a successful founder. He's done this before. He has the background that is more likely to succeed. And what I particularly liked about him, and I saw myself in this also, is that he has the skills to find the right persons for the right job and keep them motivated. I really like the team that he has gathered around him, and I think that is a very important talent for a leader. All these 4 things that I mentioned combined really made our decision easy, and I think we're looking at a high chance of success.
Great, thank you for sharing that, and I enjoy very much what you said about Esquire and Pavlos. I also enjoy very much the team and discussing with Pavlos, and I like the way they are progressing. Pavlos, now going back to you, I was wondering if you could share how is the investment climate? Was it easy to get this money? Are things improving in the market? How were these discussions?
I think it would be unfair I think the discussion with Liviu and founders bridge was something separate, let's say, because there was this dating period that took place and get to know each other. So they are the exception to the rule. I think in general, what we find talking in the region, when I say region, because we are active in Cyprus, Greece, and Romania, but also we have spoken to various investors in the Czech Republic and elsewhere. I think people they don't like to take on a lot of risk. I think this is one, and they are attracted very much to hot and sexy things. So I am sure that instead of Ask Wire, I was putting AI Wire. Especially in the last year, I would be tripling everything that I would ask. Similarly, you say something, I am in digital payment, or I am in whatever, and I'm going to take over the world and global domination, you get more money. There is this, and this is what we have found talking to VCs, especially the larger VCs out of London, even New York, that we have spoken to, that they want effectively, and this is, unfortunately, I've done like 150, maybe 200 pitches at this point. They want to be lied to. They want you to lie to them, in that they expect you to sit in front of them and say, I am going to take your money and it's going to be 10x within a very short period of time. And I say lie to you because where I come from, which was working for advising banks, working through non-performing loans, even working for Apollo as a private equity fund, it was very important, very, very important that you kept your word. Right? You're going to say you're going to do something. Yes, it may not happen, but you tried your best to do it, and it was in your control. So when I'm standing in front of someone and they expect from me to, as I said, to lie or to hype things up for them to tick a box for their investment committee to say, look, yeah, we're going to go here and this is going to go global and whatever. I think that's the main problem. And unfortunately, what we have found is that these things that we almost see on YouTube as gimmicky things is actually the type of question that a lot of the VCs and a lot of the investors end up asking you for. This is the first. So let's say there's a misalignment between, I think a lot of the investors who are, let's say, less experienced than Liviu, who has done it for a few years, knows the type of questions, appreciates the team and what we're trying to do in our case, and I'm sure in other of these investments. They are looking for the hype. This is the first. The second that we have found is that everybody wants a cut. Everybody wants a cut. It's like, I like you, I like the team, whatever. I know someone, I want 5%. I know someone, I want 8%. I want some, and it's like, for goodness sake. It's like, this is not how things work. So you end up with that. So, in a nutshell, if I would kind of say, what's the market like? You have people who have money, but who have not done this thing before, right? Which is almost like people who have become wealthy overnight, driving a Ferrari, and they are either not pressing the pedal, or when they press the pedal, they crash. And I wish them all the best. I think they will struggle, personally. You have everybody else who's trying to take a cut here and there. This is like the second group. And then you have the serious people that say, who are willing to sit down, have a conversation and stuff like that. These are the three levels. I think that of the three markets that we are active in, I would say that Romania is the furthest ahead in terms of maturity because of the size of the country, the type of companies that you have operating there. When you go to Greece, things are, let's say, they are good because they have structured funds, but the individuals have not become accustomed to investing in companies. And then in Cyprus, we're further behind. So this is sort of how I would find the investment market. That's why also, when I'm finishing here, the people who have invested in us are mainly other startup founders, like Lars, who did Google Maps, and now he's an angel investor. We have Hellas Direct, who's an insurtech out of Cyprus and Greece, and now in Romania. They did our pre-seed round when we had nothing, not even a presentation. It was me and my pen, and we went and said, this is what we want to do. And the guy turned and said, here's 150,000, it's a convertible, no guarantee, no nothing, go off and do it, we trust you, and that's it. So it's almost this type of people that we saw backing us, at least until now. I think going forward, things are going to change. We're now beginning to scale, we're beginning to mature a bit more, so things are going to get a bit, let's say, more corporate and stuff like that. But in terms of the market, it's still a bit of a wild show right now.
Thank you for sharing that and doing it in a serious but very honest manner, not looking for any fantastic headlines or something, but thank you for sharing your experience. I think we need to talk honestly about what's happening on the market and what do you see. Now let's go back to how Esquire is doing on the Romanian market. How are things progressing? How is everything? And if you see signs that things are taking off?
There are three elements here. I mean, from our side, the main focus was and is identifying data related to the real estate market, where real estate in the first instance means describing the property. So things that have to do with the environment, like earthquake risks, soil quality, floods, wildfires, climate change, all that kind of thing. We have identified those sources. Actually, the government has plenty of data lying around, hidden for some reason, but they're there. So we found it, have started scraping and downloading. So in terms of the environmental stuff, we're actually in a reasonably good level and able to deliver quite good quality information for insurance companies regarding their risks and how they could use that data to price building insurance. This is on one side. The second thing that we have found is that using the notaries or the tax books of the notaries, we're able to identify and digitalize these notary books to the tax values. We're able to use them to identify or at least have an understanding not where prices are, because obviously, as everybody knows, notary books in the market differ, but we're able to identify where where the rich, the average, the poorer areas are across the country. Then we're able to use Google Earth data to identify where the buildings are, the height of the buildings, terrain, and whatever. All of this together gives us quite a good understanding of the real estate landscape in general, which has allowed us to, the past week, to sign our first contract with an energy company as a pilot. Under this contract, we will map the solar energy potential of a city. So we will do the whole city. We will keep each and every roof, allowing in this way the company to identify which are the roofs, which are the households that offer the greatest opportunity, but merging the data together. So the best roof in terms of solar energy potential, where the household has a certain income level and above, that allows us to extract it from the notaries, as we said, and then coming in and also looking at the height of the building to make sure we take out any apartment buildings or anything like that. So it's houses that have good solar energy potential, where the values are of a decent amount and over, which means that they can afford to install photovoltaics. So this will be our first project in the country. We're in active discussions with one of the insurance companies to run a pilot with them, and we're a bit further behind. We have also brought on board a business development person who is working on opening doors. And obviously now with the partnership and the investment by Liviu and Funded Bridge, we're looking at that market. So I think we're a good space because the data has been identified and we are at the end of gathering it. The first contract has been signed. We have now the backing of reputable local investors that can help us open up the market. There's a business development person now who's coming on board who's going to help us with that. So we're beginning to get there. And it's just about managing priorities right now in terms of where we shift resources because the Greek market is also beginning to bear fruit at the same time.
Thank you for sharing that. So you think the energy vertical has chances to grow, is a good prospect for you? Because I do remember when we talked in the previous times, I thought banks and insurers are maybe the biggest potential customers, but it looks like also energy is a good match.
I think Liviu, maybe you can make a comment about decision-making in insurance companies and in banks, not only Romania. Maybe you can chip in with that, and then I can talk about my experience.
Yeah, I think that's a new vertical that can be monetized quickly in Romania. I think the sales cycle is a little bit shorter than talking to a bank, and I think this can provide a plethora of good use cases that we can show to potential other players in the market. And I think this type of project that we are now doing together with this utility company is also translatable to other markets. I think it's market independent. What Esquire can do in this vertical is, provide quick and the data that can be used immediately, because one of the obstacles, for instance, when talking to other investors about this idea, I want to invest in Esquire. What do you think? Because I always validate my ideas. They all said, but all this data, are available anyway. No, they're not available. The risk department of I don't know, one bank in Romania is not going to go and download cadastral data and go on immobiliare.ro and look at prices. We need to provide a tool, an end-to-end tool, not just, here is the data, because the data is freely available, obviously. So I definitely saw a lot of value add that Esquire is providing on top of this data, and identifying this new potential vertical, utility companies, energy companies, has proved that they're spot on. And I want to come back to what I said earlier about being at the right place at the right time. I think that Pavlos is on to the moment when one of the largest industries in the world, like the largest asset class in the world, is beginning to get digital. And a particular thing that I like about Esquire's approach is that they are not trying to digitize the difficult things like construction. They're trying to digitize the meta information after that. I have recently read an article about the construction being the least digitalized vertical, and it's the largest asset class in the world. And if you put a construction worker from 100 years ago that worked on raising the first skyscrapers in Manhattan, if you put one construction worker from back then in a construction site now, he will get around. He will recognize everything, and he will be able to work 100 years later, which really shows that this is the right time, right? And another thing that I was particularly attracted to about Esquire, and this also relates to your question, is that they really have a plan and they have a strategy and an end goal in sight. And they want to be regionally relevant as quickly as possible, right? Regionally meaning either Eastern Europe or Balkans or maybe entire Europe, but they want to become regionally relevant as quick as possible. And adding this vertical of utilities really helps and accelerate this goal. And I think all the goalposts that we have set in the future can be either achieved easier because we also have monetization from this vertical, or can be achieved faster because there's a lot of traction added to this. And Esquire will probably be on the radar of bigger investors sooner than we expected if things go well. So this is actually my take on why this new vertical that they just happened upon in Romania is important to have.
Thank you for sharing that and for your comments. And I also agree that energy sector looks like things are moving much faster in solar, for example. It's a really hot area, and everyone is trying to catch a piece. So that forces also big companies, which otherwise are slower, like banks and insurers, to move faster than usual. So I think there is potential in this side, because everywhere you look around, you see someone installing a solar panel, discussing about it. So it's a really hot market, I think. Now, as we approach the end of our discussion, I want to ask both of you, everyone in his line of work, let's say, which are at this point the key targets that you have that you want to accomplish this year. Liviu, I think you can share if you are going to do 1, 2, 3 more 10 investments or not, and Pavlos maybe could share the general picture. What do you want to accomplish now that we are around the half of the year?
Well, if you want me to start, it has been a busy first half of the year for me. Esquire was not my first investment this year, and if the second half goes just as well, then I would be very, very happy. So as a best case scenario, I would say 2 more investments, but bearing in mind, I'm talking about myself as an angel investor. With Founders Bridge, we have a pipeline, and we hope to close another one after the summer. But for me personally, I see a major hurdle in actually finding the startups that are ripe for investing at my sweet spot in terms of life cycle. Because I happen to have been very active in the first part of the year and really kept my ear to the streets, so to say. And there's not a lot of good things that I've heard about yet, but who knows what the future might bring. Esquire was not here last year, and here they are. So in terms of personal goals, I would ideally have second part of the year as fruitful as the first one. But you can grow horizontally by investing in more startups, so you can grow vertically by growing the ones that we have. And I think I'm doing a good job there with the help of teams like Pavlos' team.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Liviu. Pavlos, what can you share about your plans?
So for us, our plans across Cyprus, Greece, and Romania, and I put them in the same bucket, let's say, because we are moving. We have a 5-stage plan. So it's gather the data, cleansing the data, visualizing the data, talking about maps, AI tools, and then we go into using AI to analyze, analyze also auto-generated reports by integrating the data with LLMs, large language models. So you click and you auto-generate the whole report for an apartment or for a house or for a piece of land. And then the final stage is building forecasting models in terms of how the city is growing, in terms of optimizing, investment in photovoltaics or anything like that. So these are the 5 stages that we're doing. Right now, so we've done gathering and cleansing of data is done for Cyprus and Greece. The gathering obviously is almost done in Romania. So let's call it that the 2 first steps are done. We are very close to, when I say very close, this week, we're going to sign a partnership with one of the major technology companies so that we use their visualization and AI tools, which will allow us to unlock a lot of potential in stages 3 and 4. We're also building these auto-generated reports, which we're actually doing them in partnership with another company from Romania that we met during Innovix. So we're going to roll that out end of July, so in the next 2 months. So stages 1 to 4, as I said, gather, cleanse, visualize, and auto-generate reports and analyze. They're going to be done by end of July. In the second half of the year, our plan is we're very close to signing 2 major contracts in Greece, one with an NPL servicer and the other one with the state. So that should take a lot of resources. We have a kickoff meeting tomorrow to start building our forecasting model for the Greek market. And then hopefully by Q4 this year, we already have the office in Romania, but nobody's sitting in it, which is a bit unfortunate. So hopefully by Q4, in September, we'll start recruitment in the country. Our plan is quite simple. By the end of this year, our aim is to hopefully break even. We're going to get close, I think, how we're doing. And then from next year is about, as Liviu has said, about going deep. So it's not about adding countries. I mean, it's quite easy. Plant a flag is easy. It's okay. We stop. We turn around and say, okay, we have 30 million people that we're covering in the Balkans. We take a poll. We go into depth. We start segmenting the market into different groups. Real estate professionals, businesses, and then enterprise. And we push that way for 2025, and then we start again either at the end of 2025 or 2026. This sort of the plan.
Pavlos, I wish you best of luck, and let's settle that across this journey we discuss again and keep sharing what are you doing and how are you progressing in your journey. Also, Liviu, as soon as you have another investment or there is anything new that you want to discuss about and share with our audience, please let's discuss. We are always interested to talk to you, gentlemen. So thank you very much for the discussion today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us over. It was a pleasure as usual.
Vă mulțumim și dumneavoastră pentru că ne-ați urmărit. Aceasta a fost ediția de astăzi a ZF IT Generation. Vă așteptăm și la edițiile următoare. La revedere!